That's one way to do it. All right, everybody, I'm back again. So hey, it's Sunday, April 23rd, right at 5:30. I was out here maybe 20-30 minutes ago to check on the swarm traps, and this swarm activity is definitely picked up, especially from earlier today. And then I went out to the yard, dressed just like I'm dressed, to go check on the other traps. And one of our neighbors, actually this gentleman right here and this young boy, was telling me Nick, the young man, was on his hoverboard and thousands of bees were flying around, and that got me to thinking to basically check out the tree line to see if I could find them or any sort of evidence of a swarm, which leads me to their neighbor's house, the single story down there, and I'll show you in a second. I was able to find them. They perched on a tree branch about 3 to 4 feet off the ground, so I'm gonna make contact with the neighbor and see if I can relocate them. All right, quick update. It's about 5:40. They seem to be settling in quite nicely. This should be a very easy relocation, so hard to compare, but the swarm's about maybe mid chest to shoulder high, so maybe 4.5 to 5 foot high off the ground. I'm gonna try to make this as easy as possible, meaning drive my lawn tractor over here with my cart, put a 10 frame box in the cart, and then just shake them into it. So that's my plans that I plan on executing probably about 2 hours. Just let them settle in. Absolutely no rush. Again, it's right down the street in my neighborhood. So just drive my lawn tractor over with the cart, shake them in, and get them relocated back to my yard. All right, quick update on what will be swarm number 7. So it is now 6:35. It's been about an hour since the swarm was first noticed. As you can see, a whole lot of bees still flying around, but the size of this swarm seems to be growing. So I have yet to make contact with the neighbors. I did leave a note on their door, but I still plan on coming over here in the next hour, maybe around 7:30 or so. Like I said before, just drive my lawn tractor over with my cart, have some 10 frame equipment loaded up in the back of the cart, and it should be as easy as shaking them into the box. All right, hey, it's just after 7 o'clock. I got everything set up. So I have a deep sitting on top of a deep to give it some elevation to get as close to the bottom of the swarm as possible. Got a few frames with drawn comb, a few frames with brand new comb, about 50-50. Sun sets in about 45 minutes, but as you can see, it's already starting to dip below the tree line. So I'm just gonna go boogie on up the road to that single story house and rescue this swarm. So pretty cool. This will be swarm number 7. Not that I gained from a trap, but just in general relocation. And I am very curious to see maybe next weekend, since I'm getting them straight into a 10 frame box, if they have a marked queen. So if they do, there's a good chance this is one of my hives, and if they don't, maybe it's another hive from Southwest Strawberries and Honey, thanks to the Wooten brothers for having a commercial bee yard about 1/4 to a half mile from my bee yard. Let me first say, I don't think it gets much easier than this. I mean, check this out. We got this massive swarm. Stacking the 2 deeps was a pretty good idea. And look at this swarm relocation setup. This should go pretty smoothly. I don't want to jinx myself, but it doesn't get much easier than this. Surprisingly, on another note, it's been about 2 hours and there are still a ton of bees flying around. Like I said, the sun sets in about 45 minutes. I'm just gonna shake them. I'm gonna back up a little bit, shake them down into the 10 frame, which I removed 4 frames to give them some space, and maybe just let them settle overnight or the next few hours and relocate them back into my yard. So here we go. Number 7 for the season. All right. Here goes nothing. Actually, let's see. Let me give a first-hand perspective since I don't have to hold the box. Yeah, all right, here we go. That's one way to do it. That's exactly what I had in mind. What would happen? The majority of the bees would miss the box. However, thanks to the cart, they're pretty much all contained. All right, well, just gonna let them settle. A few bees left on the branch. I'll take a closer look at them later to see if the queen's up there, but there's a pretty good chance the queen is down here somewhere. Got a few bees over here on the ground as well. I figured they would practically go everywhere, which they have. So give it about an hour, let everything settle, and that is a full box of bees. All right, it's about 7:40. Sun is dipping below the horizon. I imagine this is the remaining field bees, or some of the remaining field bees, coming back to where the swarm was located. But in no time, they should be able to find that the colony has moved into a nice 10 frame box. A few clusters of bees on the ground that I knocked out of the cart and off of the empty 10 frame box that was used as a foundation to really close the gap between the cart and the branch, which I think was a fantastic idea. I'm gonna give the branch one more good shake. In fact, I'll just do that now. Easy. Get them in the air, onto the ground, and I'm sure they will settle in no time. So hey, that does it for me. Pretty easy swarm catch, if you want to call it that. I'm gonna leave the 10 frame box in place overnight, and I imagine by tomorrow evening, obviously the chaos will have settled. And I'm also hoping that the rest of the bees that keep going back to this branch, which is very common with swarms, cut that out and find their new home. But that was a pretty massive swarm. Like I said earlier, I'm very curious to get into them next weekend, as long as they stay put, and see if they have a marked queen. And speaking of, that brings to mind a tip that Paul and Bill shared with me recently with a few swarms that I caught, and they reswarmed or left the box the following day because they didn't have any brood. So I am going to move a frame of brood into them tomorrow to try to really anchor them down so they don't reswarm, because again, y'all saw, massive swarm. All right, that's it for today. I'll check on them tomorrow. All right, hey, you guessed it, folks. It is the following day. It is Monday, April 24th, right at 7:45. Temperature is 57 degrees, 75% humidity. And hey, good news for me. It looks like the hive accepted their new home. So far, so good. I will call this a successful swarm relocation, but again, like a few hard lessons learned this year, I will not truly say they have been relocated successfully until I get into them this weekend, assuming they stay put. But since they're still in the box about 24 hours later, I don't really have much of a reason to suspect they will reswarm. But again, TBD until this weekend. All right, that's that. Doesn't get much easier than that. We got I guess I'll call this hive number 9, and that front activity that you see right now is because I disturbed them by shoving a towel in there to transport them over. But yeah, they're down here. Well, shoot, we got 7, 8, 6, and 9. So anyway, I'll get into them this weekend. But yeah, I'm really excited to see if they have a marked queen and how much progress they make between Sunday to Saturday, or Sunday, so 6 to 7 days from now. Very curious to see how much progress they make. They had a few frames of drawn comb and a whole bunch of frames of plastic foundation, so that'll be a good indicator to see how much work they get done over the next few days. All right, hey, quick update in the next part of the swarm number 7 series. So it is Friday, April 28th, right at 4:45 in the afternoon. Temperature is 78 degrees and the humidity is 65%. And this is going to be rather quick, or at least that's my plan, because we have some thunderstorms moving in right around 5 o'clock in about 15 minutes. So hey, quick recap on swarm number 7. I caught them on Sunday, transferred them over to the bee yard on Monday, which was April 24th. And again, today is the 28th. So they have been in the box for about 5 days now. And I would usually get into the bees on the weekend, but because today was an early release from work, which is always a good thing, I popped my head out into the bee yard, which I usually do on the way back from work before I get to the house, and I noticed a ton of bees basically washboarding and just hanging out on the front entrance, kind of like you saw just now, but a whole lot more, maybe close to 2 hours ago, give or take, maybe an hour ago. So I decided, with seeing that and tomorrow, you know, being the start of the weekend and everything, why not take advantage of some extra time, get out here, finish up with swarm number 7, conduct a first look, which is essentially what this video is going to be, and at the same time I'm going to give them some extra space with that honey super to the right, which does have some drawn comb. I just have to go grab a queen excluder and that'll be it. So this will finish up swarm number 7's video, hive number 9. Let's see how strong and how healthy this colony is, to include how much progress they've made over the last 5 days since being in the box. All right, here we go. Like usual, let's give them some smoke. There are a ton of bees hanging out on the front porch like y'all saw. All right, give them a second. I have my paint pen ready and my queen clip. Looks like they've made a lot of progress. I'll show you that in a second. But because I have a migratory cover on, I am just looking around to make sure the queen is not on here. All right, looks good. Just get that set aside. Yeah, this colony looks like pretty much they are as full as they were on the branch when I removed them. And some of these frames were brand new, and I'm seeing a lot of very nice drawn comb. So again, I'm just gonna let the camera roll for a little bit and see what we discover as we get in here. They have packed this side, which is the inside of the very first frame. They have packed this with nectar. So, first frame, first look, I'm already pretty confident with my decision to get out here today, given the amount of bees hanging out on the outside of the box, and they've been in here for about 5 days. So, all signs that they most likely need some room, and some extra space can't hurt, especially this time of year. That is all brand new wax. That is incredible. Ton of drones. And as y'all saw, when I basically removed them from the branch, I mean, I just shook them loose, drawing out some wax on this side. All right, so I'm just gonna go frame by frame, try to find the queen. If I find her, I'll show you all that like usual. Get her caged, set her aside, mark her eventually. But yeah, so far 2 frames, full nectar, beautiful brand new wax, very strong swarm, huge swarm too. All right, nothing terribly interesting to share or talk about right now. I have four frames to go. Haven't found the queen yet, otherwise I would have showed you all that. So let's see what these last 4 frames have to show us. Ton of bees. Oh, there she is right there. How about that? Right in the middle of your screen. Nice color, kind of on the smaller side, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. So let's get her caged. Easy peasy. Set her aside right here. Go through the remaining frames just for a general first look purpose. I have not found any capped brood yet either, so well, as I say that, they probably won't have any capped brood because they've only been in here for 5 days. But I have been keeping my eye out to see if the queen has been really laying any eggs, and I haven't found that yet either. So she's a swarm. I mean, it is possible she's newly mated, maybe. That's some weird comb. I'm gonna have to come through and do some cleanup work eventually. Nothing too urgent, but yeah, let me finish up right here. Like I said, ton of bees. All right, yeah, so let me get everything put back together, and I'll prepare to get her marked. I have a queen excluder ready with an extra box because they definitely need the space. And that'll be it for swarm number 7, which is now hive number 9. All right. All right, let's see if we can do this again. We should have pretty good luck. Where's she at? it's easy when you don't have a ton of bees in the cage. All right, she's in there. Hey, how about that? Almost like I know what I'm doing. All right, let's get her marked. Get her released here in a little bit. Once she dries off, back into her colony. And that's it for the next week or so. Just need her to turn around. It's pretty looking. All right, here we go. Let's get her marked up. There we go. Good enough for now. All right, give her some space so she can dry off. All right, let her dry off, give her a few minutes, and get her released. All right, let's get her released back into, she just needs to turn around. Oh, the part of the thing is stuck there. All right, come on. It's like the plunger is stuck. Let me try and fix this real quick. Let's see. There we go. All right. Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Oops. I think I just dumped her down in there. All right, yeah, she's down in there. That's one way to do it. All right, at this point, all they need is some extra room in the form of a honey box. Let me get all these bees off here. Yeah, there we go. I don't want to squish too many of them. Yeah, and I'll show you real quick, giving them a little bit of a jump start too, because they have a few frames that are already drawn out, so I have no doubt they will make quick work of the added space. All right, folks, hey, that does it for me. Swarm number 7, hive number 9, established. They should not be going anywhere. Nice, healthy amount of bees, as I assumed, judging by the size of the swarm hanging from the branch over there. Queen right, TBD to see what kind of laying pattern she has, because I didn't really see any brood just yet. So we'll give them another week. Again, they've only been in the box for about 5 days, so I'm not going to get into them this weekend. So by next weekend, I should see more eggs, larvae, and or capped brood. If there were some eggs and larvae in there that I just didn't see, it should definitely be capped by next weekend, which will be, well, over 10 days. So there you have it, folks. Such a beautiful, beautiful swarm that I caught 5 days ago.